CBeebies. It is one of the biggest preschool television channels in the UK that has been going on since its launch in 2002. The channel is beloved for its line of programmes, fun activities, lovable presenters and other elements. The channel has been the home to many popular shows and it's still going to this very day. But whilst praising the channel for its goods and pleasures, not always can CBeebies be about sunshine and rainbows. The channel has had a fair share of controversies over the years regarding the shows, the presenters and the channel itself, and that's what I want to look at today. The bad, the sad and the disturbing side of the CBeebies channel. Let's get right into it. Show Me was a fun active children's series starring Jarvis and Poi Fan Lee, who have been CBeebies' original presenters since the channel's launch in 2002. The series itself focuses around Chris and Poi, who play in their magical playroom with their friends of toys. This format was sort of similar to Play School. They had many characters including Stuffy, a felt cube toy with orange hair, Momo, a robotic girl, Miss Mouse, a knitted mouse toy, Tom, a messy brown-haired ragdoll, and Teddington, a soft teddy bear. In 2016, a clip from one of the episodes titled Kites and Festivals had went viral when viewers thought Chris Jarvis had said the C word during a song about kites that he was singing whilst riding a scooter. The BBC had got complaints about the scene and they had to deny the claims of Chris using any sort of swear, stating that the lyrics were actually about a fluttering kite. This hugely became viral when a shocked mother of two from Hull posted the clip on her Facebook, where it quickly had sparkled up millions of views and posts about it on social media. This came clear as it was just a missed audio hearing from the viewers watching. Chuggington was an animated children's show which first came out in 2008, focusing on the daily adventures of three trainee engines, Coco, Wilson and Brewster, as they all learn about important lessons like cooperation, perseverance and respect. It was, as I claim to this day as it to be, CBeebies' version of Thomas the Tank Engine. Most just claim the series to be a whole update version of Thomas or a complete rip-off, but meh. Instead of having grown-up voice actors doing the voices for the characters, they had actually brought on children to do the voice work. Charlie George as Brewster, Imogen Bailey as Coco and Morgan Overton as Wilson. These would be the main characters' voice actors for the series. Morgan Overton would stop voicing Wilson after the third series, with Edward Sharp taking over his role into Series 4. In 2020, however, Morgan would be caught up in controversy. In July 2018, when Overton was 18, Leicestershire police went to his family home in Springfield Way, Oakenham, to search through all his devices, but he was away at university during the time of the police's visit. He had contained over 700 photographs of children being inappropriately abused. Morgan claimed that the images and videos he had owned, which featured the underage people, was a method of self-harm. He was taken to Leicestershire Court on the 10th of November 2020 for sentencing. He had gotten a 3-year community order to complete 150 hours of unpaid work and required to participate in a 60-day rehabilitation activity program. To separate themselves from the controversy, the BBC had got Teddy West to redub over Overton's voice lines for Wilson in the first 3 series to be replaced onto BBC iPlayer in 2021. Mark Speight was an English TV presenter and probably best known for his work on Smart, which was an art series that the BBC made when they took inspiration from CITV's original series Art Attack. The series aired on CBBC from 1994 up until 2009, with 16 series and a total of 199 episodes. That would later receive a spin-off series called Smarteenies, which would be the preschool version of the show that aired on CBeebies. In January 2008, Speight had found his partner Natasha Collins' body in the bath of their shared London flat. Mark was arrested on suspicion of her murder, but not charged with any offence. An inquest later determined that Natasha had died of a drug overdose and Seth burns from hot water. It was death by misadventure. In April that same year, Mark Speight was reported missing and later his body was discovered being hung near Paddington Station. 2 suicide notes were discovered describing how he could no longer live without his partner. During this situation, the BBC had to stop showing repeats of Smart and Smarteenies on their channels. This is a very heartbreaking story to hear about, as Mark was a huge part of the Smart brand and in children's television in general. In 2009, a new presenter at the time called Carrie Burnell joined the CBeebies team starting on the 26th of January 2009 as a continuity presenter for the channel's blocks like Discover and Do and The Bedtime Hour alongside another presenter called Alex Winters. Within a month of her co-presenting on CBeebies, many outraged parents have put complaints into the BBC about Carrie Burnell, as many argued that Carrie's arm was scaring and upsetting a lot of children, which prompted difficult conversations for parents to have with their children to explain about Carrie's disability. Carrie was born with a congenital ampu in the right arm that ends just below her elbow. One man who complained said that he would stop his daughter from watching CBeebies because Burnell would give his child nightmares. Another parent said, "I didn't want to let my children watch the filler bits on the bedtime hour last night because I know it would have played on my eldest daughter's mind and possibly caused sleep problems." Carrie spoke up about it and didn't let the backlash get to her, with many people giving her support for what she had been doing and the hard time she went through. She stated, "The support that I've received has been truly heartening. It is brilliant that parents are able to use me as a way of talking about disability with their children and for children who are similarly disabled to see what really is possible in life, and for their worlds to be represented in such a positive, high-profile manner." Carrie is an inspiration here, showing that disabled people can be who they want to be, and it's amazing that she didn't let anyone get that high ground off of her for being who she is. Carrie had left CBeebies in 2017 and recently now does different things like being an author and writing her own children's books. Rastamouse was an animated series using stop motion, following the adventures of Rastamouse, a leader of his band known as the Easy Crew, along with his two other members Scratchy and Sumer. The series revolves around the trio, led by Rastamouse himself, who often gets calls from President Wesley Dale, wanting their help to catch criminals and make life better for the residents of Mouseland. Usually the episodes tie in with some sort of song or music that the band make. The series is based off the books by Genevieve Webster and Michael DeSauce, if I pronounced that right. Upon the show's release, critics and some parents had raised concerns about the characters' styles, like the tam hats, the reggae music, and the characters having a heavy obsession with she's, which promoted crude and reducent stereotypes of Rastafarian and Jamaican culture. The show actually became the most complained about CBeebies show of 2011, with over 200 complaints. The vast majority of these complaints targeted the use of the Jamaican slangs used in the show. White parents expressed their anxiety for their children that could mimic the language used in places like the playgrounds, potentially causing them to be wrongfully accused of racism or cultural insensitivity. Others worried it would endorse standard English skills. The characters' obsession of she's made viewers think that in the show, she's is their type of marijuana. In September 2019, co-creator Michael DeSauce faced a legal controversy when he was sentenced for benefit fraud. He admitted to wrongfully claiming over $8,000 in job seekers allowance and housing benefits because he failed to declare his right in income. He narrowly avoided prison and was sentenced to 160 hours of community service after the judge noted that even his own daughter was a fan of the show and urged him not to go to jail. Sarah Jane Honeywell is an English actress, TV and radio presenter. She started working with CBeebies in 2002 as a presenter on the series Tickabilla and its spin-off series Higgledy House, which she worked alongside Justin Fletcher. In 2021, Sarah Jane Honeywell was fired from the BBC and from working on CBeebies due to posing topless for a PETA campaign. It had ruined the public image as someone who worked on the channel. Justin Fletcher, after hearing all about this, never spoke to her again. She had understood his reason as he didn't want to ruin his public-friendly image of being an actor for CBeebies and Mr. Tumble. In interviews with many outlets like The Sun's Fabulous magazine, she admitted that losing her job caused her to lose her identity and affected her mental health. The hatred and harassment on social media had made her have suicidal thoughts, which she had overcome during pregnancy. I've brought this one up before discussing it in a video based on the topic, but I'll mention it here. In 2001, an episode of the Tweenies called Favourite Songs had a scene where the character Max had appeared dressed as the toxic television presenter Jimmy Savile, wearing his trademark blonde wig, a tracksuit, and whilst impersonating his voice and catchphrases. This wasn't an issue when the episode had first broadcasted in 2001, but however, the exact same episode was repeated again in 2013, which would strike heated water when 216 complaints had been made to the BBC in January of that year. Apologising for the sketch, the BBC said, "This morning, CBeebies broadcast a repeat of an episode of the Tweenies, originally made in 2001, featuring a character dressed as DJ impersonating Jimmy Savile. This programme will not be repeated and we are very sorry for any offence caused." This was clearly not perfect timing either, as around the same time, Savile was revealed to be a massive horrifying freak. Another Tweenies controversy surrounds an episode from a spin-off short series called Be Safe for the Tweenies, where an episode called Knives was banned from broadcasting due to its inclusion of knives in a children's safety demonstration. And that's me done with this video, and these topics are found about all these controversies and pulled episodes and the presenter's controversy. Some of this was new information to me, so I was very happy to be doing this. It was a fun video to make. Thank you for watching this video. Feel free to share your thoughts and opinions down in the comments about these shows and controversies, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.